I'm Caitlin over at Hidden Sycamore Farm. We are new on YouTube. I have one video previously whenever I was starting the Extreme Mustang Makeover, but this is our first video for our farm itself. I decided to start recording and kind of keeping a record of what goes on with our farm, anything we change. We bought our farm back in 2019 on Valentine's Day. It was a bunch of soybean fields and a 1930s house that lived on there that had a lot of termite damage and just wasn't livable. We've done a lot of work. We've got my husband's shop, our house obviously, and then we've got this equipment building that has our tack room in it. And then we've also gained a lot of animals. The biggest one being our goats. We started out with chickens when we first moved here. I had horses prior to moving here. The horses were kind of our gateway into the farming scene. We're kind of switching gears just a little bit. I no longer compete with any of my horses. I just have them for trail riding, and so we wanted to make some changes to our farm and see where that gets us. Throughout this next year, we've got several projects lined up that we're going to be doing. So this year alone, we plan on having a lot of changes. So if you want to stick around and see what we do, and then we'll go around and let you see the farm as it is now, meet all the animals, see where we have our garden spaces, and what we do around here. So if that's something that you would be interested in, stick around. You're more than welcome to come hang out with us. So what I'm going to do right here is, this is our tack room area that I'm in. I'm fixing to make our feed buckets and everything. We'll set it up in that RTV right there. That's what I use to kind of go around the farm. Makes everything super quick and simple. We'll load up all our hay, our feed buckets. I am going to go ahead and do our chickens and our rabbit now. That way I don't have to worry about them later, because I do have a late lesson today, or for this evening, and we'll be kind of crunched on time by the time that lesson is over. So I'll be finishing up the lesson and then immediately feeding up right after. All right, so here's our setup with the feed. So this is one full square bale. This is for our horses. I've separated it into 5 flakes. So they're pretty hefty flakes. And then I have another square bale that's cracked open that I'll use just a little bit at a time. The does still have a bunch of hay in their shelter, so they don't need any today. This sliver of hay, or flake of hay, is for the buck that's by himself currently. And then we have these 3 buckets. These are for the 3 younger horses. This has the just the normal 12% protein pellets. And then these 2 buckets are for our front pasture. They're for Rowdy and Gypsy. And then there's the other senior bucket back there. Once I have this filled up with water and it is soaked majority of the way, I will then add in the pellets into this bucket before feeding Hannah. So this is the chicken feed that we're getting ready to go take to the chickens. And then right here we've got our Livestock Guardians food, our rabbit food. She looks forward to her little 2 horse treats a day. And then we have the food for the buck. The does food, they eat on the milk stand right there. So I leave their food in here until it's time to feed them. All right, so here's our old girls. I don't really feed them out of a feeder. I have it hanging over there, but with all of these girls, they just kind of like to eat it off the ground. Kind of gives them something to do for a little bit. All right, so those are all our old girls. No egg today. We'll go get the rabbit's food and the other chicken coop feed. She got some treats earlier today. And we'll dump our food there. Got water. Alright. There's little baby Onyx over there with Rosie. And with this coop, you just pull this lever back for the wheel, hook it like that. We'll do that for both sides. We have one wheel that's a little rickety, but that's because Lily likes to use it as a scratching post. Of course, Lily's going to be nosy. Lily. Knock it over. Let's say hi. Has to check out the feed buckets. Alright, Stinker. Back up. Yes, you. So with our movable coop, that's kind of the damage they do on the ground in one day. I have it a bit at its max capacity as far as the chickens go. Because the ground doesn't really hold up that well, I just kind of take and run it along the edge of the pasture. Once summertime gets here and the grass is growing fast enough, we will take it down through the middle of the pasture and just go up and down, back and forth. And then there will be plenty of grass for everybody. So we've got 7 eggs today. And again, no fancy egg basket for us. There we go. And then we like to put hay in here, because if we don't, the wire on the bottom will actually kind of bust the eggs, and then the chickens will start eating the eggs, and we don't want that. And we have our nosy supervisor right here. Hi, Lily. So this coop has held up pretty well so far. We've had it almost a year. No, ma'am. We've had it almost a year. Back up. So this wheel is still holding up nice and sturdy. However, this wheel is very wobbly. I've already had to patch it once. The reason why this is wobbly is not really a design flaw. It's that thing. She has used this as a scratching post plenty of times. She has a lot of skin issues in the spring and summer, and she will scratch on anything and everything. Won't you? Ma'am. You can't have the eggs. Nope. And there's Miss Bella. Yes, we've already seen you. Alright, you guys, so this is soaked. You see how it's easily smushed apart? And that is the consistency that we want for Hannah's food. We're going to take this out and go feed. I'm going to have you guys kind of on hooked to the harness, and y'all can see kind of like just from my point of view as I'm walking around, since we're running so late on time and I want to try to get this done before it gets dark. So I will see you guys in just a second once we've made it outside. Alright, so I went ahead and added the senior feed into that bucket. So I'm just going to leave this one right here. We're going to go around and feed these critters. Now I soak all of their feed. We used to have an issue with Rowdy, that white one, choking on her feed just because she ate really fast. So just to be on the safe side, I add water to everybody. It's not going to hurt them. It's just going to give them a little bit extra water intake for the day. Sometimes I will have the feed pans pushed out on the outside of the pens. Today I did not do that, so I get to come in and feed these girls. Look how angry she looks. Back up. looking. Lily, be nice. Be nice. Tilt you guys down so you can see the critters coming up. Oh, back up, back up. I got a duck. I got a duck. Okay. All right, sit. Girl, wait. Wait. Okay. Come on, buddy. Hey, pretty mama. Onyx. Pretty girl. Right, back up. Back. Can't open it this way. Back. Good girl. Guys up. There she is. Hey, buddy. Blanco. And there are good, better, and best practices for taking care of your animals. We're going to say ours is good because it's getting fed as hay. It is not better and it is not best because it is on the ground. but part of the reason why he's leaving is I'm kind of tired of getting bruised up, so I feed him from outside the pen. Not really that aggressive, just goes a little crazy during rut like bucks do, and does not know personal space. And I feed out of these, I think they're 40-gallon barrels. My dad had actually cut these, and we kind of sanded the edges, rounded them out, that way nobody got cut on them, and they worked really well. I do not feed. I have had, so Hannah, and then we had another horse a while back with heaves. I would not feed them out of this. The other guys do pretty good with it, and it keeps the mess down and less waste. Alright, so I was not really a fan of this, at least from what I could tell. I feel like it would have been a little bit bumpy for you guys, so I took the camera off of this, and I'm just going to have you kind of sitting on a barrel while we feed our does, and that'll be the last of feeding up for the outside animals, and then I'll see you when we get back in the house as well. So this right here is Parker. Parker is the first goat we ever got. We did get her by herself. If you ever want to get goats, that is not the wisest decision. They're definitely animals that need a friend. And she did not have one, therefore she got into a lot of mischief when we first got her. A year later, we finally got Pepper, and she calmed down pretty well after she got used to Pepper. She initially did not like Pepper. She had gotten used to being on her own and just being with the dogs, and very much enjoyed the dog's company over the goat's company. So she will actually, even though she's the oldest, she will not be due until after Pepper, her due date is April 6th. They are both bred to Blanco, which is that white and cream Nubian that you saw whenever we were feeding up earlier. So we'll see. She is 3 years old. I got a year late start on her. So we're gonna get her put away, and then Pepper will be up here next. Good girl. Good girl. I don't need to do her feet. I did her feet yesterday. I had recorded it and accidentally deleted all the videos from yesterday. So this is Pepper. Pepper is a year younger than Parker. They are half sisters. They have the same sire. Her due date will be March 4th, and she, with her being a little ahead of schedule than Parker is, she actually has a tiny little udder coming on back here. Parker actually doesn't have anything showing right now, so we'll see how she does or when she gets hers. But Miss Pepper is the complete opposite of Parker. Where Parker is pure chaos, Miss Pepper is super sweet. Aren't you, girly? I love them both, but this one's so much easier to take care of. Yeah. And then the fourth goat that we have is Onyx. He is our bottle baby. He'll be switched from 3 bottles a day to 2 bottles a day, I believe on Saturday, tomorrow. He will be switched to 2 bottles a day. We don't know what she did to her ear. It just came out and she had her ear split open. We walked around the pen, couldn't find anything. But luckily no one else has had that issue so far. And she takes just a little bit longer to eat than Parker does. Alright guys, so that wraps up the video for this afternoon. The next week I'm going to be filming a few things throughout the week and then making a video with multiple things that we're working on. So if you like this sort of introduction, then we'll see you back next week for more stuff on the farm. Thanks for watching.